All right. Well, it's 10:02. We're starting at 10 today. Good to see you guys showing up in here. Everybody got their passcode right? They didn't ask, right?
No.
That was fantastic. That worked out better than I hoped. Probably would have lost half of you if you had to remember the passcode. So that worked out pretty well. So let's start the meeting. Tell me a little bit, guys. I don't have a big presentation today. I want to talk about your goals, what you guys are doing, and what your plans are to meet your goals. First, I'll share a little bit with you guys about what we do. Every year, at the end of the year, we set out with the year's numbers, actually in the beginning of the year, because we have to wait till the year's over and accounted for, which is after the end of the month. And we set out the goals for the next year. And both on how many agents we're going to recruit and how many agents we're going to retain and how many closings we're going to have, et cetera. Just, as far as the closings go, similar to what you guys would do, except probably with volume, right? So we do this every year, and I'll be frank with you, they're aggressive goals. They're written down. We're probably not going to hit them this year because of March, the end of March and April and May just killed us, right? Slowed way down. But you guys have, by the way, September blew it out of the water. This is going to be our best month ever this past month, September. So you guys were awesome. Great job. But it's probably not going to make up for the rest of it unless you guys keep going like that, October, November, December. But so that's what we do. That's what we do every year. And we have specific ways. What are we going to do to hit these goals? And we do it with our marketing stuff, with our training stuff, et cetera, to try to hit the goals that we have. So that's what we do. And what I want to get a feeling is what you guys are doing and the steps that you're taking or thinking about taking or planning to take to meet those goals. And typically you have this training at the beginning of the year, whatever, but you have to have goals for, I'm sure a lot of you do, and I'm sure a lot of them were disrupted with the virus. So what I want to hear is what your goals are for maybe the rest of the year or the rolling 12 months or 3 months or whatever it is that you have. Who has some goals that they'd like to share? I'm sure you have more goals than you want to share, but give me some that you will share. Anybody?
I'd like to generate my own leads through my own marketing.
So you mean that 3 months from now, 6 months from now, whatever that is, which you'll share with me here in a second, you would like to have a solid grasp on having enough leads to keep you busy and make money, make the kind of money that you want to make. Is that what you're saying?
Through my own marketing, right?
Right, through your own marketing efforts and resources. You want to have, was it 3 months from now, 6 months from now? Almost you want to be lead independent on your own, right?
Correct.
And how long?
3 months.
3 months? Sounds like you just made that up.
Well, the sooner the better.
Right. Okay. Well, set a date on it.
Mm-hmm.
Set a date, October, November, December. Set January 31st. Give yourself 3.5 months. Set it January 31st or something that you want to be, whatever your goal is for leads per month, conversions per month, whatever it is, come up with those and set some goals. And there are other people here who might be able to help you with that. And that's kind of the purpose of this meeting. There are people here who are independent on their own leads, or they're purchasing leads and they're happy with them. And I know someone's purchasing leads and not happy with them. So we have a little bit of everything. So that's a great goal. That's a great goal. Guys, I can't tell you how many people I see in the twilight of their career who meet with me because they're unhappy at their current brokerage, and they're up there in their golden years and they do not know where their next lead's coming from.
Ryan, don't talk about me like that.
Oh, well, I didn't mean to mention, not the twilight years, just their golden years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a great goal. Awesome goal. Anything else? Is there any other rock solid goals that you have?
I'd like to hit $1 million consistently or more every year. I mean, I've only been at it about 6 months this year.
Okay.
I think I'll reach that.
Oh, fantastic. So what's your goal for next year? So if your goal is $1 million for a rolling, so 6 months, you started right about the virus time. So what is your goal for, let's say, March 2021 to March 2022?
3 million.
Okay. All right. And you don't have to know that right now, but you better know it by March 1st of next year. Okay. So do that, get a good feel for what you can do. If you can get your own leads and do all that kind of stuff, 3 million should be very, very easy. Because guys, what we teach, remember this, what we teach, the Agent Success Program, you guys all should be doing this. And yes, it's going to end up looking like a triangle pyramid, right? But what you should be doing is that 20-30% that we're not taking, pretend that we did and spend it on your marketing. Okay. Pretend we took it. So there's a lot of agents out there, these agents I'm talking about in their golden years, they've been working they probably started at 50-50, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and now they're working for 80-20 or 70-30, and they don't know where that next lead's coming from because they've been giving that money to their broker and living off the remainder this whole time. Okay. But when you do that, Andres, tell me about your last deal. How much did you make?
Last deal.
Or your next deal. Just tell me about the deal you have. How much you're making?
Well, the last deal is about 4,500. The one I have closing next week is going to be about 7,500 to $200,000
celebration. We'll cut it right in half. $6,000. Okay. Let's say $6,000 is your average of those two deals, right? $6,000. $2,000 is what a typical brokerage would take. 1,500 to 2,000 of that, right? If you spend that on leads, guys, tell how many one of you guys who buys leads, if you spent $2,000 on leads, how many sales should you get out of that?
Hopefully
at least one or two, right? If you're not getting one or two out of that, then you would probably change what you're doing. So you turn those two deals, so you get $12,000 out of those two deals. You turn those two deals into 4 more. Right? I mean, that's how the business works. That's why you're in your first year and you're struggling because you're in your first year. But by the time you're in your 7th year, now you've got a referral network set up. The people who bought from you in your 1st and 2nd year are buying again and selling again. You've got all of their friends and family that you've been hitting up all these years. You've got all that stuff coming in. You get your 1 or 2 lucky deals a year, that the kind of stuff you're probably getting now just because you know people from your sphere. And then you're going to get the deals that you're buying, right? And by that time, and let's say now you're doing, instead of, let me see, if you do $1 million this year, you should make, I don't know, 25, 30 grand. If you're saving, 5 or 10 of that, that should be another 5 to 10 deals for next year lined up. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you keep rolling it back in and rolling it back in, plus you grow your referral network. And now we have people. Tammi, how many years have you been in the business now?
Well, I've been in it 15 or 16 or 17, but I've only been full-time 5. 5 years.
Tammy's been full-time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tammi does, I don't know, $10, $11 million a year, something like that. I don't remember, but something like around $10 million a year. Okay. So just stick with it. Keep doing your thing. Keep working. Tammi busts her butt though. Okay. So keep sticking with it and keep working and you'll get there. But set your goals, make them achievable, but aggressive, and track them. Okay. Because every day, guys, every day you ask yourself, and I don't care if it's a personal goal or real estate related, whatever it is, is what I'm doing working toward my goal? I don't care what your goal is. I don't care if it's to dunk a basketball. Okay. Am I working toward my goal? Right? So think about that every day. Okay. Who else has got a goal they want to share? Malvys.
Okay. So I like to share that I admit that I am not a very technical or technology person. What I do, I've learned, but I am not like my 22-year-old that can make a website or get on Instagram or Facebook and do whatever. I'm not that kind of person, but I have learned and I have realized that is important. So I was talking to my husband the other day, and I know I wanted to set up a goal for next year. I don't have a date yet, but I was going to contact Abby to help me out to set up a Facebook page or an Instagram account that would lead towards real estate, and help me out and give me tips on what to do, what to look for, where to look for information that I am legally able to post in those pages. And then for next year, I will like to at least have one closing a month. So I have been considering, I actually called Tammi and to get her advice, because she's been in real estate full-time quite a few years too, and she's been very successful. So I wanted to be successful as well, or more successful than what I have been, and try to have more closings for next year. So I've been considering also purchasing leads. So I started last year to build on my Zillow account to ask for more reviews. I wasn't doing that in the past, but I'm doing it now more often. As soon as I send the link out to the client to give me a review, so that I can start building up. So one, I want to get better at using technology, meaning social media, Instagram, to market myself, because those are cheap ways to do it. And two, I want to set a goal for next year to have more closings. $20,000. I don't set an amount for. I mean, it'll be nice if I can sell volume, but I want to keep on selling regardless of the price.
Okay, and I like that goal just fine. I like the closing a month, one closing per month, just fine. Don't worry about volume. Don't worry about the money. That'll come. Also, every closing that you have, you're starting a relationship with someone, and they're going to refer people to you, and they're going to use you again if you do it right. Right? If you stick with them, they're going to do it right. So I like that goal. The technology goal is much more difficult because you don't know what you don't know. So it's hard to say it's hard to have a concrete goal and something that you don't know about. So that's fine. But your first step is to meet with Abby. And, Malvys, I hate to say this, but what are you doing toward that today? Are you going to email Abby today? Right?
Yes. Now I will, because I've been procrastinating on that. I thought about it last week and the week before, but I haven't emailed her yet.
Okay, perfect. So you're going to email Abby today. You're going to email Abby today, and then you're going to get started on that, because you don't know what you don't know. Because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know until you meet with Abby and you talk about what you don't know. Okay. So just to say I want to become more technology proficient, that's fantastic, but it's not really a specific goal, but that's fantastic. That's a great goal. But what are you doing toward it today? Until you find out exactly what it is. And you may meet with Abby, and Abby says, well, you need to have by the end of the year, I think you can have a website, you could have a Facebook campaign set, ad set, etc., whatever kind of technology. And I should become more proficient in it too. It's not one of my goals, but it should be. But the real thing is, Malvys, if you don't email her by the end of the day, I'm going to do something to you. I don't know what. So
embarrass me.
I'll embarrass you next week on the call. All right. So what? Anybody? So I love the closing a month. Are you working with Disney now still?
I'm still, but I work from home. So this is I say one closing a month because I know what I can handle, but I know what I can do. I also bust my behind working. And so so far this year, I've sold 6 properties. So that's half of my goal for next year. So every year I wanted to have more and more. And I know that I'm capable of doing it.
Oh yeah, I know you are too. Very good, Malvys. Very good. Anybody else want to share a goal?
I will.
Okay.
I'm very lax. I mean, I'm not very good at Facebook and stuff either, but I did just force myself to do that Rate My Agent. And Daryl, I think you're doing this, right? So today it comes to it's free with our MLS, and so anyway, there's a few other parts I need to kind of re-listen to the webinar thing. But anyway, so I sent out like 3 reviews, and the one guy reviewed me today, and it's so easy. It comes to your email. You just hit this little upload button to your Facebook, and you're like, wow, this is so easy. And so that's what I've been kind of working on, is trying to, the Zillow reviews are really good, but actually this Rate My Agent, because it's going to go on your Facebook page, is, I almost think might be better in a way, because it's going to be out there in front of the people that you know. And I mean, they're probably both good. I don't know, Daryl, what do you think? If you had to send somebody your Zillow, I mean, I know you probably send them all, but I'm wondering how many reviews somebody will do for you on different platforms.
I like the Rate My Agent first. I like the Google second, and maybe the Zillow third. I really don't aim towards Zillow at all, but
yeah,
Google's very important because of the algorithms, and it's to get your website in better position in the organics. But the Rate My Agent's super simple, so both.
Yeah.
Number 1 and number 2.
You send it at the same time, all the links?
Yes, I try to.
How do you send for a Google review?
Google actually gives you a link to send. You can send it by your phone. You can send it email. It's actually really simple. I send it directly from my Google business page.
Business account. Yeah.
Yep.
HomeSnap helps you with that.
Yeah, I have HomeSnap as well. Yep.
And Tammi, did you send that to your most recent clients, or did you send it to your past clients as well? People that you sold the property, like let's say 6 months ago, a year ago.
I probably will go back and do older clients. You know, I may not go super, maybe not past a year or something, but I probably will. I think there was a way you could attach a current review that they gave you to that sale, and they just confirm it or something. I have to go listen to the webinar again.
It wouldn't hurt to send it to them either, to anyone.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Any reviews that you get, though, you should share on your Facebook. Anything that you get from Zillow or any of those things, I mean, any good ones, share them on your Facebook. It's just, I mean, you can copy and paste them, you know, get them on there. Abby, have you been going in and out there? Is that what's going on? That's why I'm doing it from home, everybody. All right. So, Natalie, let's hear your goal. By the way, I want to go back to that. Tammi, I love that. It's very specific and very attainable. You just got to work toward doing it, right? Get set up on everything where you're happy with how your reviews are going. Guys, reviews are huge nowadays. There's a million of you guys out there. Get the reviews, get them out there for people to see. Again, anything that reminds people that you are a realtor, in case that slipped their mind, whatever. Remember, this is an important thing to remember in life. Nobody cares about you, okay? So they need to be reminded all the time. Nobody's thinking about you when you're not there. I mean, I hate to say that. Your loved ones are. But the regular person out there, you want to work with everybody, right? Not just your loved ones. You want to work with people who you're not always in their consciousness. They want to be reminded about you. We are all realtors, and nobody cares about realtors. There's a million of you, right? Mm-hmm. So they want to be reminded of you, or they need to be reminded of you. They don't want to, but they need to be reminded of you, what you do, and that you're good at it. Again, this is the biggest decision people have ever made, whether they're buying a $75,000 house or $1 million house, whatever it is. It's the biggest decision they've made to date, right? It's bigger than their last house they bought, or it's their first house and they've never bought a house before, or until they're old and they move into a condo somewhere it's their last house they ever buy. They want to know that you're competent and that you're good at what you do, and they want to work with somebody they know and they like. Okay. So again, on your social media, you're sharing things that make you likable. You're a family person, you're a regular person. And when you're feeling comfortable going to restaurants again, you eat food at restaurants, you check in here and there with your family, whatever it is. You got your kids, your grandkids, you put them on there once in a while. Even if you don't like to share that stuff, do it once in a while. And then the realtor stuff. Okay, put it on your business page, share it to your personal page. Hopefully they'll go click on your business page. Oh, Tammy's doing real estate. Yolanda's doing real estate. Let me click on that. Oh, she is. Oh, wow. She does a lot of stuff. Look at all those reviews, right? Because they're not going to scroll down your personal page forever. Oh, she's always posting about interest rates and hot markets and this and that, right? She's a professional. He's a professional. So keep that stuff out there. All right. So I love it, Tammi. More people of my generation need to be better at the as Malvis was saying, at the technological stuff. We've got to be better at that. And so expanding it like that is great. Also keeping the old-fashioned Rolodex of your people as well, of your referral network. Natalie, go ahead.
And that's exactly what I was going to touch on. October, November, December, it's all the holiday months. It slows down. We've got time to make phone calls. I reach out to my database of 180 people for the next 3 months. That's 60 people a month. That's what, 2 calls a day. And I remember some training where we had to make about, what, 10, 15 calls a week, write like personal cards, like 5 note cards. I actually use Jackie Lawson and send e-cards. That's a really good thing. I've already ordered my calendars that I send out to all my clients that I'm getting ready to send as soon as after Thanksgiving. I've got them all ready to go. It's the magnetic kitchen. I'm old school, sorry, but people love them. They call me and say, hey, are you sending me my calendar? But I've got all those ready to go. I've got Christmas cards ready to go. And then I just reach out for the next 3 months. So you get that pipeline ready when it comes in for spring. And everybody wants to know about the market right now. Everybody wants to know if prices are going up. Are they going to stay low? What's going to happen? And then, of course, I don't involve any politics. I don't talk politics when I call people. It's just a wellness check. See how they're doing. People are like bored. They're sitting in their house. They're like anxious. They want to talk. So just start logging, you know, your database and just make those calls from now until the end of the year. That's
Natalie, that's fantastic. And you know, when you put it like that and you break it down like that, it's not, when you break it down to 2 calls a day, does that seem like it's too hard for anybody to make 2 calls a day?
No.
No, who wants to sit and work on their phone all day today? Nobody, right? But when you make it, if you tell you have 60 calls today, oh, I'm going to dread that and procrastinate and do everything else. If you tell me I have 2 calls, I'm going to do that in the next, couple minutes, right? And that is brilliant. And that is how you set goals and set a plan, which is part 2. So setting goals is one thing. Planning on how you're going to actually accomplish those is just as important, right? You have to have a plan for doing it. And then step 3 is to actually do it. So that and step 4 is to reap the rewards of it. And step 5 is to set next year's plans or next month's plans or whatever goals for next year, next month, whatever it is, next quarter, however you do it. Okay. So make your goals attainable, aggressive.
It costs $0.
Yep. So I love that. And I love the breaking it down to 2 calls a day. But you know what makes that attainable, Natalie, is that you're doing that on October 7th. And you didn't wait till December 14th to hit them before the end of the year when they're all busy and they don't want to hear from you anyway because it's Christmas and they're, if they're guys, they're going Christmas shopping on the 23rd. So, that's, nobody wants to be hassled in the holidays. So you're doing it now. That's brilliant. Okay. But that's what planning does, guys. That's what goal setting does. It forces you to plan. There's lots of sayings about planning, including failure to plan is a plan to failure, right? Or failing to plan is planning to fail, right? So that's what goal setting does, is it makes you plan. And when you break it down like that, and you get a plan to do it, it makes it easy. That's 2 calls a day. That's nothing. I might do 3 today and 3 tomorrow and take Friday off, right? So, I mean, just, think about that. Okay. Who else has got a goal?
Brian, I wanted to share real quick, like Natalie was saying, I have the Jackie Lawson website set up thing too. It's only $20 a year and it lets you send e-cards, and you can take recently, about 2 months ago, or maybe more, I set up the campaign emails for Thanksgiving and for Christmas with all my clientele. That way I did it like 2 months ago and I don't have to worry about it. You can set the date that you want the email to be sent. It's pretty neat.
What is it called?
Small and simple, but at least my clients will know from me, at least from an email, 4 times a year.
Okay. What is the...
do you think that's good? Do you think people look at them?
They do. They actually do, Tammy, because they thank me. They send me an email. They can send you an email back. And Jackie Lawson, when they see your email, it sends you a notification to let you know who read it. So the people do open it. You know, it sends you a little thing that, you know, you have received a Christmas card from Tammi Pipkin. And they click on it. It's like a minute or 2 minute. And Jackie Lawson website sends you an email letting you know that they open it, that they view it. And sometimes I get emails back saying, thank you. And it's only $20 a year.
And what do these emails have on them, Malvys?
These Christmas cards, these cards are like animated. They're really unique, aren't they? They have this.
They're animated with music. It's very entertaining. I mean, I've been doing it for years, and again, I've got people that enjoy it and they reply all the time, and it's themed around different holidays. You can do birthdays, you can do anniversaries, you can do everything on it.
And what do you think that accomplishes for you guys? Staying in their consciousness?
Yeah, awareness that we're still thinking of you.
Mm-hmm. Because
put
what
the
do people...
website in the chat. I put the website in the chat.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I saw that. Thank you. Because nobody would have guessed that, how to spell Jackie. So it's spelled funny. So, yeah, so this keeps you in their consciousness. It establishes you as their realtor, and it lets them know that you're different from their concept of most realtors, which is there for the commission and bye-bye, right? I'm going to share the stat again, because I do it almost every week. 3 years after buying, less than 30% of buyers could name their real estate agent, which tells you what? We don't care. We don't follow up. We were there. If somebody makes $8,000 off of your deal and you don't hear from them again, what were they in it for?
The money.
The money, right? Is that what people think about real estate agents anyway? Realtors are in it for the money. They're probably not even necessary now with all these websites and stuff. Why do I even need them? That's why I'm going to pretend I know everything about real estate and try to go around every realtor I can, right? We found something on our own, which they think they did, but they're really still paying just the listing agent both sides. So who else has anything they'd like to share for goals? Who's thinking about making goals? Okay, well, what kind of goals are you thinking about making?
I'll share my goals just to have something to say. I'm trying to be quiet so everybody else can talk.
I was hoping it would be painful enough that somebody would pipe up. Yeah.
No, I was waiting for other people to talk because I usually hog the screen too much. I've seen the past videos and I talk too much. But
as a good realtor, you are.
I'm sorry. I watched the one screen. I'm like, oh my God, these people think I have a huge ego. But anyway.
Nah, we love you, man.
Thanks. My goal is my income goal for next year, because I think I've already met this year, actually. With my pendings right now, I'll be meeting it. Income goal for next year is $150,000. I don't need a ton of money at this point in my life. So 150 is fine. I live great at 150 with my real estate income. I've got other income, but anyway. Closings, I want around 20. I've got 13 closed, I believe. Actually, 10 closed right now, and then another 3 pending. Listings for next year, I want 15. And my goal is around 5 million in sales for next year. And I'm fine with that. I don't need to be a super $10 or $20 million producer. That's just where I'm at in life.
That's wonderful. So, how do you feel about so you feel good about your chances of hitting all those goals?
I do now, yes. Since I've already surpassed my goals for this year, even with the pandemic happening, yeah, I feel really good about it.
Which goal are you most, I mean, you hesitated a little bit. So which goal are you most concerned about hitting? Most, or maybe not concerned, but most, which one do you think is going to be the toughest?
Probably the 5 million. That's quite a bit. Just because I've noticed the kind of business I do. You know, I can have some months that I do $1 million in a month, but it doesn't happen that often. So that's probably it's gonna be a little bit tough.
Okay.
In my opinion. Might not be. Who knows?
Well, it's only a 250 average if you do 20 deals. So and that shouldn't be in the downtown area where you're mostly working. That shouldn't be bad. So are you worried? Because I've got one that I'm most worried about for you, and that's the 15 listings. Okay. I think that of the 20 deals to do 15 listings, that's going to be tough. I think if you do 15 listings, you'll have 25 deals. So, so what is your plan to get more listings?
Just keep on doing what I'm doing. Actually, it's working out great with with my past clients. That's my biggest. That's where I get my most listings.
Sure.
The last 4 closings this past month or two have all been prior clients. Every one of them.
I'd like to expound on that a little bit, because some of our newer agents always ask me how to get more listings, and there are ways to get more listings. You can chase FSBOs, and you can chase all the expireds, and you can do all that kind of stuff. But the reason that more established agents have more listings is because it's part of the referral network now. I sold them a house, 7 years ago, and I've kept up with them, and I've done my Jackie Lawson emails, and I've done all this. I've reminded them about everything, all of their deadlines with the house. And I've stayed in touch with them this entire time, and I've become their realtor, right? I check in on them. I send them cards. I do all this stuff. I remember birthdays. I do all that. And so when they think of a realtor, they think of me because I'm their realtor, right? That is the, Andres, we're talking about you starting out in the business and just getting going, and you need to make enough to where you can stay in it 5 to 7 years, because that's when it really starts to pay off, right? That's when you start having the returns. The people who are selling the nice house you sold, the newlywed couple, now they have 3 kids and they need to upsize, right? So they're going to sell that house that you helped them pay $180 for a house, 5 years ago, and now you're selling that house for $250, and you're buying them a $400,000 house, right? They're 5 more years into their career now. They've got 3 kids. They're more secure in everything that they're doing, and they're ready to step up to the next one. And then guess what? 5 to 7 years later, you're going to help them buy another house, right? Because they're going to move to either a nicer neighborhood or a different neighborhood, whatever. Maybe they get transferred out of town and you'll just sell their house, right? So just keep this, that's an important thing, what Daryl's talking about. That is exactly where most listings come from, is prior clients that you help buy, usually in that same house, right? Or they refer you to their friends and family. So be patient with the listings. They will come if you follow up. And that's another thing that, I said to spend that money on marketing. I consider that part of marketing, is the follow-up, the gift, and the systems with the constant contacts and the Jackie Lawsons and all this other kind of stuff. Okay. That is marketing too. All right. Who else has something they'd like to share? Daryl, thank you for sharing that. That was very specific goals. I love it. Thank you for sharing it. And hopefully you have a plan to get there. Sounds like, I'm sure you do. You're a planner. So good luck, and keep us updated.
Thanks.
And I think your ego is perfectly sized. Who's next? Who wants to share something? Come on, somebody. Doesn't have to be that personal. It could just be something you'd like to do better at, something you'd like to, some goal you'd like to hit. We all have goals, or you certainly wouldn't be in this meeting right now if you didn't.
I got a goal. I need to lose some of this pandemic weight.
And Daryl,
How am I
What is
going
your
to
plan?
do it? Exactly. I haven't devised one yet. I need to start going back to Disney Springs. That's where I usually hang out every weekend and walk again. But I can't get out there because I don't want to wear a mask. So I'm kind of stuck.
Yeah, exercising with a mask is no fun. So, but Daryl, I got to call you out. It's not a plan. It's not a goal if you don't have a plan. It's just talk. That's just bluster if you don't have a plan, right?
Okay, I'll go back on mute now.
That's probably for the best. Sebastian, George just wants to get out of the house. George, you have a plan for that? George, I'll unmute you. George doesn't have a plan to get out of the house. All right. Then it's just bluster, George. Oh, here he goes. You ready, George? All right. Your mic's not working. Let's talk about Sebastian. Sebastian wants to get a listing. Sebastian does not have a mic, but he wants his is to get his first listing. He's relatively new to the business. And he wants to get his first listing. So you guys have any ideas for how Sebastian can get his first listing?
I started with for sale by owners. I remember getting listings that way, but that was way back 14 years ago. So I don't know what's working now. I think for sale by owners are still probably out there.
My first listing, Sebastian, was a expiring listing that my first broker ever sent me on an appointment with, and she couldn't believe when I came back with the listing that night, but they left me.
Okay.
Expireds and FSBOs is the way to go on that front.
Sebastian, do you have a niche neighborhood that you're looking at getting a listing in?
Sebastian's going to be tough to talk to.
Okay.
But he will chat.
So, Sebastian, what I would do is I would find a niche neighborhood if you don't have one, and then find a house that you can do open houses at. Whether it's if you don't have a listing, so you need to call other agents to see if you can have an open house. Hopefully a vacant house, those usually turn out best. But I would start having open houses and getting your name out there, have open house signs with your name so that people see your name around for your niche neighborhood.
All right. So yeah, Sebastian's in Pinellas County. He has a pretty good Facebook game. He's a youngish guy compared to me, and he has a pretty good Facebook game. And he's worked with buyers, and he's in Pinellas County. But these are all great. It is a hustle. That's what Natalie's telling you. That's what Vivian's telling you. That's what Daryl's telling you. You got to hustle. You got to be in the business a while or hustle. Right? You got to work it until they come to you. And even then, if you want more of them, if Daryl's serious about that 15 and he's looking like he's going to have 11 next year, he's going to have to hustle to get his 15, right? So it's guys, I mean, we get paid 5, 10, 15 grand at a time, right? You know how hard people work for 5 grand in the real world, how many hours they work for 5 grand in the real world, how many stupid bosses they have telling them what to do and all that stuff. Work for your money. This is a serious business. Work for your money. Be professional. Dress for success every day. Get out of the dress nice, even if you're not leaving the house. Even if you don't plan to leave the house, dress for work. This is a real business, guys. I tell you guys this all the time. This is the best business in the world if you're good at it. If you can't be a rock star or a professional athlete or something, it's the best business in the world, right? You make your own hours. Nobody tells you how much you can make. You can make as much or as little. Nobody tells you that. No boss is telling you when to. I mean, you have to work, right? But you set it around your schedule. If you have to be somewhere Tuesday at 2 o'clock, you have to pick the kids up from school every day. Whatever it is, you can work around that. Which you can't do if you have a boss over your shoulder, 9 to 5.
I get up every day and get dressed expecting a call. I get up and get dressed knowing that somebody's going to call me today so I can run when they call. Right,
and that's, you know what though, Tammy, that's easier for you because you've got a lot going on, and there's a likelihood that somebody is going to call you and want to see something, right? You need you to let them into a house.
They don't, but yeah.
But it's harder for people who don't have a lot going on. It's harder when you're newer. But you know what? I mean, I'm in my house. I'm fully dressed for work, right? But if I'm sitting here in my pajamas, I'm not as inclined to work. I'm more inclined to play with the dogs or go watch TV or something, right? So get up and get dressed. For you, those of you who wear makeup, put makeup on. You know, feel like you're ready to work. Okay, but it's work. And Sebastian, it's and all of you who want more listings and more this and that, it's work. If you want individual help on how to do this, you're welcome to contact me. And we've talked about it in here before. Guys, if someone in our company sold something in their neighborhood, then we sold in their neighborhood. Go talk to them. Hey, just so you guys know, we sold the house down the street for $312,000. Just want to know if you guys are considering selling. We got top of the market. We were only asking 309. We got over, whatever it is, we got over asking price. We sold it in 2 weeks. Check out the days on market. If it wasn't your sale, we sold it. Get out there and hustle. All right. That's the kind of stuff that you can do. Daryl's doing well at the business. He had a broker's open yesterday, which I saw on Facebook. He told me he was going to do it, and I saw it on Facebook, and I saw it was successful on Facebook. He said you had several brokers there. I liked it on Facebook. I saw that. But even if I didn't know, or Daryl was just a friend of mine and weren't in this business, I would know Daryl's a realtor, downtown Daryl, right? And if somebody said to me, I want to buy something downtown, oh, downtown Daryl, he's downtown. Right? If I don't know anything about real estate, that's what first thing I'm going to think. Daryl, do you want to work with people who don't know anything about real estate? You can just nod your head. You want to work with people who don't know anything about real estate, right? You want to work with people who do know about it. You want to work with everybody. So get it out there. Sebastian, I hate to tell you this, it's just a hustle, man. It's just a hustle trying to break through. And like I was saying, it's the best business in the world if you're good at it. It's the worst business in the world if you're bad at it, because you sit around the house, you don't do anything, and your bills keep coming in, and you're not feeling comfortable, and you just get paralyzed, right? Any kind of sales, if you're bad at it, is very difficult. Sales is what, the second or third highest paying profession in America, right? And real estate sales is the craziest. If you want to, I think the highest is doctors, and then real estate, or not real estate, but sales. And real estate is crazy. $450, $500 to get your license, to get out and going, right? Is it that cheap to become a doctor? Anybody know? Not probably, right? So it is, and takes 8 years. You guys could do it in 3 weeks or a week. You can do it in a week and then get your test a month later, whatever. Anyway, in a month, $500 in a month, you can have your real estate license. Okay. But you do have to put in the energy and sometimes a little bit of money to get going in the business. All right. But Sebastian, one thing I want you to take from that is the FSBOs, the expireds, all that kind of stuff. You got to hustle with those, and then pick an area. We always talk about why me, why Andres, why Martha Elena, why would I work with you guys? Why Andres is a good example. Andres been in the business 6 months. Why should I work with Andres rather than with Daryl? Why should anybody work with Andres rather than with Tammi? Right? And there is a reason, Andres. There is. It's a rhetorical question, because there is a reason. Why me? Why Andres? Why should they work with you? And you should have 20-second spiel that you can give me why I should work with you rather than Daryl or Tammi. Okay? Been in the business for years. They know what they're doing. They do X amount of volume, blah, blah, blah. Why should I work with you instead of with them? And there is a reason. There are things that you're better at than they are.
My ego's not as big.
Your ego's not as big. Yes. First of all, yes. And that goes for Tammi too. So, but there's an area of town that you specialize in. There's a type of sale that you specialize in. You're probably, you're probably better with technology than I am. I know you are. You're better with technology than I am, right? So there's certain things about your age, the part of town you live in, you know that area like the back of your hand. There's a reason for each one of you guys in this meeting that people should work with you rather than with me or Daryl or Tammi or Natalie or anybody, right? And I'm just going across the people at the top of my screen. So there's a reason why they should work with you instead of those people. Okay, so come up with that and be able to articulate that, right? And maybe they just think you're more successful or better at it than they are because you do a better job on social media getting it across, right? Look at all these positive reviews Andres had. Andres has made 4 sales, but he's got 4 positive reviews right on the front of his page. Daryl's made 20 sales this year and he doesn't have any, right? So who looks like the better realtor, right? Who looks like more professional and would do a better job for me? The person who gets it out there, okay? That's perception is reality. Get it out there. I don't care if you have 2 sales or 102 or 1,200. Get it out there and let people know. There's all kinds of things that we think in our minds that are not true. Okay, it's just our perception of them because that's what we see.
I had a quote online that kind of kicked me into gear in terms of putting things out there, and it was not marketing yourself or not putting things out on social media is like being a painter and not showing anybody your work.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. You can be the best in the world and nobody will ever know it. So get it out there. Who else has got a goal that they want to share? Any kind of goal. So who has goals? Just raise your hand if you have goals.
Hi, Ryan.
Hi.
Hello.
Yes. Go ahead. I hear you, but I don't see who's talking.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that can't hear?
No, she's cutting out.
Joy, I think that's you. I can't hear you. We can't hear you, Joy. We'll wait for Joy to come back.
Okay. Okay.
There
Let me
you
try
go.
again. Can you hear me?
Yes, much better.
I'll come back. I'll come back.
Well, you're good now. Okay.
I sent you a text, Ryan. So now I think that I can read it easy.
Okay.
So I just start over again and I will start with my business card. I have an appointment tomorrow for my hair and to take a picture. So then social media with somebody who is doing my logo, my setup, my Facebook business. And after the setup, I will doing a follow-up. I need to learn to do a follow-up. I'm looking for a listing, and I told a past client to sell the unit and buy something newer, not too old. So I have an appointment today at 12:30. Let's see.
Yay. Okay. So this is interesting. So Martha Elena has a plan
for today.
What is your goal, Martha Elena? What is your goal? You said you want to come back, and I know you want to get back into it. What is your goal? What is going to be back for you?
I need to have a listing this month.
A listing this month. That is a very short time frame and a very good direct goal. I like it. So, and you have a plan, right?
Yes.
And it starts with your hair and your business cards and all that stuff, like any good plan. So,
media, yes.
So good. Well, that is fantastic. Thank you for sharing. You have a set goal and you have a plan to get there, and that's what it starts. Yes. And what I'd like to see you do is make a little bit longer term goals too. I'm sure you have some. You're not sharing them, but make sure that you have some. Okay, you don't have to share them, but make sure you have some for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. Guys, if you want to hit your 12-month goals, you start stacking that pipeline now, right? Every client doesn't qualify for credit right away, but they can, okay? And sometimes they won't qualify for credit for 18 months. And it'll seem like a waste of your time, but you know what? 18 months from now, you'll be glad you did it. Anybody ever work with a client and then close a deal for them 18 months later? Or 2 years later or several years? Yes, right? And boy, it seemed like you wasted a lot of time, and you might have even told your friends that, oh, I just wasted a bunch of time with somebody, or you told yourself that. And then 18 months later, you were thinking, boy, I'm glad I wasted my time with them, right? Stock your pipeline. If you want to hit your goals, keep working toward them and stock your pipeline. So that's great. Martha Lane, if you have a sales goal 3 months from now, this month's a heck of a time to get a listing, right? So that's going to help you reach that goal. So set your goals 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, whatever it is that you want to do, but be thinking about take your goal and back it out. What do I need to plan to do every day, starting now, today, to get to that goal? And then every day, whether you just get out of bed or before you go to bed, then what am I going to do tomorrow or today to meet my goal, toward my goal, right? So a little bit every day. And I don't care what your goal is, a little bit toward it every day.
Okay, thank you.
So I like it. I love your goal.
Can
I'm
I
not here to judge people's goals, but I like that. You're on the right track. Yes.
I just want to mention I'm seeing that you still work with EXP Realty on your.
She can't. We've had this discussion
Yeah.
before.
I had to change mine so that my license would be on there for some other Zoom. That's why it's there. But that's the conversation I'm having right now with Colm and with Dawn about how when I Google them, I'm seeing other brokerages, not FRI, and people are Googling us. So that's the first thing we should be doing is updating anything that the public sees about us should all be consistent. So
Okay. Do you know how to change that on your Zoom page, Martha Elena? You can change it on your profile.
I did it, but the point is that I don't know, for any reason, I I have two Zooms, two emails, so two accounts. So
Well, you go onto your, when you log off here today, go onto your profile on your Zoom and it should.
I did it.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Okay.
I mean, it's not just you. I'm not picking on you. Literally, my partner is in the same position, and I'm trying to show him where he's advertising for other brokerages. That's how I look at it.
All right. Who else has a goal? Yes.
One of my goals, and I'm like this close. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Is to reach the $1 million with D.R. Horton.
Okay.
Literally one sale away. So that's kind of like what we're working out.
Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. And what's your plan to get there?
Well, yes, I live in the Winter Haven area, and this part of town is very hot. So I live in the community, D.R. Horton community. So I've been doing like taking people tours this way. Yesterday, we ended up doing a contract with Dream Home Findings. So, but like I said, I'm very close to it. I don't do that much, but I was a mortgage broker. So I have a lot of clients that I used to work with that I still, yeah.
Okay. And do you get a bonus or anything when you get that $1 million?
I think so. I think so. I'm not sure, but I saw it the day, couple of months ago. I saw somebody posting the $1 million for D.R. Horton thing. So I'm assuming they do get it. But since I saw it, I was like, okay, since I got so many sales from them this year, I'm probably if I didn't reach it, I'm very close to it. So that's like immediate goal.
Well, fantastic. Congratulations. And I hope you get there, and sounds like you have a plan. So, but that's one thing you brought up something and something I want to talk to you guys about as well. When you hit your goals, what do?
You go for more.
You go for more. You need to reward yourself too. Okay. And you guys have heard this in a million trainings about goals, right? Whatever business you've been in before, if you got in real estate 6 months ago, you were in some other business where they talked about goal setting and about rewarding yourself when you hit goals. Give yourself a reward when you hit goals, and go ahead and tell yourself now what that is. And as long as, Daryl's got his goals, and then his other goal is to lose his pandemic weight. So he might have been taking himself out for ice cream for his reward for his first goal, but now he might change that, but that's fine. So, because your idea of a reward a year from now might not be the same. So get something in your mind that you're going to reward yourself with. Maybe it's a trip to the beach. Maybe it's take the family on vacation, whatever it is. If that's a reward, then do that. Okay. But reward yourself too, because this is, you're going to work hard for it. If you set your goals right, you'll be working hard to get them. So give yourself the reward, and yeah, sure, it's going to probably make more money, whatever you're doing. If it's a real estate related goal, obviously it's going to make you more money, but and that's enough of a reward for some people. But you want to, you know, spend a little bit of that money on yourself too. Do something nice for yourself.
Definitely.
Awesome. So that bonus reminded me of that, because that is literally that home builder's way of rewarding you for sending them business is their bonus,
Yep.
right?
D.R. Horton is giving bonus. I mean, to me, what I have seen, $4,000, even $8,000 bonus in a $220,000 deal. So 3% plus the 8,000 or the 4,000 is a really good commission.
Awesome. I don't know if that's across the board, or is that just to get people in Winter Haven?
No, I think it's certain communities.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Who else got some? Tammy?
Another goal would be to save for retirement and save some money, because you're making really good money and you really need to put money away for the future or have a reserve. So to me, that should be a goal as well.
It should. And should that be should you come up with an exact figure that you want to put away every month or year?
Possibly a percentage. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And actually looking at the big picture financially, like Andres, you know, do you want to be an LLC? I'm an LLC and I pay myself a W-2 and I pay taxes. And if you ever want to get a loan to buy a house, you're showing a certain income. So all those things in the big picture of your financial future is important as well, I think.
Everyone on this call, thank you, Tammy. Everyone on this call is a serious adult, right? So I'm going to assume that. So let me make a suggestion to you guys. Meet with a financial planner, meet with an accountant, find out what the best thing for you is to do for your financial future. The beauty of this business is you can do it till until you die. You can do it till the day you die, even if you're just referring people to other people, right? You can do it forever. But you need to, Tammy, I would like to see a goal based on your income where you could say, make it a percentage, whatever you want. But if my income's going to be 100,000 next year, then I want to put 2,000 a month away, or I want to put, 20 grand away or 10 grand away next year, each year, whatever. But I don't really know what that should be until I meet with a financial planner and find out what my number is, how I want to live, how I want, like Daryl was talking about, he needs a certain amount to live, and he's not being greedy. He just wants that amount. Guys, come up with that number. You're serious adults now. We're not getting any, even you younger folks, we're not getting any younger, right? So, I mean, if you're Abby's age, you could probably put $10 a month away, okay? But if you get my age, you better start putting some serious money away, right? Because I don't have as much time. So start thinking about that and meet with these people and start getting a serious plan for that. And you don't know, right? You don't know how much you should put away until you have a number of what you want. You've seen these ads for financial planners say, what's your number? And somebody's number might be 500,000, somebody's might be 5 million, depending on how they want to live and how long they think they'll live and when they want to retire, right? So come up with that number. And another beautiful thing about this business is that number can be lower for us than it can for most people, because we can keep working in our golden years, right? You can refer stuff, you can do whatever. Of course, other people have pensions and stuff. So that's the trade-off. So think about that kind of stuff and come up with what your number will be with someone who knows what they're talking about, a financial planner of some type, and find out what you should be doing as far as LLCs and PAs and all that stuff from an accountant. For a lot of you, it won't make any difference. For some of you, it will. Okay. So find that stuff out from a professional where you can save, 5-10 grand a year in taxes, whatever that is, and put that money toward your future. Okay. And find out what kind of, should you have life insurance? How much should you have? Do you have too much life insurance? Figure out all that kind of stuff as well. Get your life together. That's what I'm telling you. That can be a goal for you guys too.
Are you paying too much for income taxes? Get some income properties going. Get at least a duplex going.
Yep. So maybe, and that can be, and I'm not talking about a retirement account. It doesn't have to be, an actual account. It can be a real estate, something you're putting money into for real estate and that kind of stuff, right? And how does that sound to anybody else when you're selling investment real estate, to say, this is what I own and this is why, right? Is it easier to sell something like those of you who heard my story before the thing today about the lady at Wendy's? Do you think she would have sold me even if I hadn't already ordered, right? Because she believed in the product. She, if she said, well, nothing's really good here, would I be going back there? No, right? So, but she believed in it. And it's much easier. Some of you guys know this. It's much easier to sell a house that you believe in. Is it when you're walking a client through a house that you really believe, oh, this is nice, I could live here. It's easier to sell. Don't you think you're probably more convincing selling it than somewhere you're like, oh, So it's much easier to sell something that you believe in. But if you're investing in real estate, you're going to believe that this is an investment. This is why you do it, right? This is why I did it. And how convincing is that to the other person? This is why, oh, Daryl believes in this. He's not just being a salesman. He bought the same thing. George has given recommendations on, someone asked for a recommendation on an accountant. George just gave that. Anything else that you guys are interested in or have goals for?
Hi, Ryan. I was saying earlier, knowing my why is the first step for me to know how to be successful in this business. So my why, I say, I'm over 50. I have 2 kids in college, and so I want to do the best I can to be able to save some money and help them out as well. So I need to set a realistic goal, and I started in real estate just a little bit over a year ago, and I've made over $1 million. So, in sales, in total sales. So,
yeah, I got you.
And I hope to do more. So. Okay,
fantastic. Yeah. So, Joy, if you want to talk about this another time, we can. Mm-hmm. But I'll help you with and this goes for all of you. I'll help you with your individual goal setting if you're interested in that.
Thank you.
But I think you need to have a plan of how you're going to do it, and I need to know more about what you're doing and how you've been successful and what you're using to sell and what you're willing to do and your technological abilities and that kind of stuff before we really set goals like that. But I'd be happy to meet with you and do that. And that goes for all of you guys.
Thank you.
I want you all to be successful. So my job with the company, for those of you who don't know, and those of you who know me know I'm pretty blunt and pretty upfront about stuff. My job with the company is to get as many sales as we can. We make money every time you guys do a transaction. So the reason I'm employed is to get more transactions for the company. So that's why I recruited all you guys. That's why I try to make you guys happy all the time. But the only way for us to do that is to have more agents and have the ones we have be more successful. And that's what I want for you guys. Okay. I hope you all meet all of your goals, and I hope your goals are good, and I hope you meet them all. So I'm willing to sit down with you guys and help you with that. I really am. And I think as long as you guys will do this. Now, goal setting is easy because you can sit down and you can do it in an hour, right? You can sit down and drink a glass of wine and do it in an hour, right? Whatever you want to do. Now, the planning is a little more difficult, but the most difficult part is actually doing it every day, executing. So give yourself, I don't know if you need to take lipstick and write it on your mirror in your bathroom. What am I doing toward my goals today? Right? I mean, I don't know, whatever it is that will remind you, put it on your phone every day when you wake up to wake you up with that. What am I doing toward my goals today? And then do it. And if you can break it down like Natalie does and don't procrastinate and say, I'm going to make 2 calls a day. 2 calls, right? I'm going to make 2 calls a day. That's brilliant. And she did it with enough time because she's not procrastinating. I'm going to touch every client in the next 3 months. Everybody in my Rolodex. For you young people, that's a list of people. It's a thing. So that's everybody in your contacts. So that's the kind of thing that you have to do. But guys, like everything that we do, it is all just bluster if you don't follow up. I'd like to lose weight too. Am I doing anything toward that? Can I really say I'd like to lose weight? That's a goal if I'm not doing anything, right? You guys know I went to Wendy's this morning. That didn't help. So what is stopping you from doing these? And and the pain. The reason Daryl spoke up earlier is because the pain of the awkward silence on this call made him finally crack. Okay. So, and that's what I do to you guys sometimes. It takes pain to sell, and it takes causing pain. And to sell you guys on doing your goals, what happens if you don't do the items toward your goal? What happens? If you don't plan or you don't execute, what happens? Even if you have goals, what happens?
You don't hit
results. You don't get the results. What happens if you don't get the results? What do you feel?
Pain, suffer.
Pain, right? Either the pain of being broke, the pain of being unhappy, unsatisfied, whatever it is. Maybe your spouse yells at you and makes you feel bad because you're a loser. Whatever it is, right? It makes you feel pain, okay? So what is more painful? Making those 2 phone calls or being a loser? And I don't mean a loser, but you know what I mean? Not feeling that pain, feeling like a loser. What's more painful? And if you take the instant gratification that we feel sometimes of, and the procrastination, instant gratification is, I'll make 4 phone calls tomorrow, forget those 2 phone calls, right? And then tomorrow, oh, it's not bad, 6 phone calls on Friday, who cares, right? If I keep doing that, then I'm going to end up on Monday with 12 phone calls, and it's going to be overwhelming, and I'll just say, we'll next year, right? And then I feel the pain, rather than just knocking out the 2 a day, just like I don't get on the treadmill and do 20 minutes today, right? And I'm not going to. So what is stopping you from doing that? Get off of your butts and do it, or be on your butt. Make the phone call, all right? Do it. It's not that hard, okay? Make your goals and your plans something that you know you will do, just like a weight loss plan. It doesn't do any good if I say I'm going to cut carbs and I know good and well I'm not going to cut carbs, okay? It does if I say that I will do a walk around my neighborhood every day. Well, maybe I'll do that. That's easy, right? Something that I can make part of my lifestyle. I do. Some of you guys know about my Taco Bell diet that I did, and I lost 50 pounds, right? Because I know I can eat Taco Bell. I don't have to make anything. There's one right by my house. I drive by there and I eat Taco Bell, and that's another story. So, but it was something that I could do, and I lost 50 pounds, and I've kept 41 of it off. Okay, so
I want to know more about it, Ryan.
Well, this was 2 years ago, and it was all to beat Ted Viator, which is one of our agents. It was all to beat him in a weight loss contest, and I won $100. Okay, so that is what we have to do, guys, and you have to do it. You have to knock it out, or you're never going to meet your goals. All right, and if you do meet your goals and you're not doing this, then your goals aren't high enough. Your goals aren't aggressive enough. Make goals that are aggressive but attainable. You have a realistic plan to get there, and you actually have a plan that you will execute. You know you. Knowing yourself is the most important thing. You know your weaknesses, right? If you know yourself well enough to know that you won't do this, then you need it. I'm bad with paperwork. I know I need help with paperwork, okay? So what do? I get help with paperwork, okay? You guys know what your weaknesses are. Don't make your goal something that you're not going to do. Don't make your plan something that you're not going to do, okay? Guys, I'm telling you, a little bit of work today is going to save you from a lot of misery later, because this is a terrible, terrible job if you're not good at it, if you can't meet your goals. You guys have all been there. Who's been frustrated, anxious, almost feel paralyzed sometimes in this business? Anybody? Right? Almost feel paralyzed. I tell you guys a story about this sometimes, and I don't want to go on too much longer, but I'll tell you guys a story about this sometimes, about the one of our agents who's no longer with us. Oh, she's alive. She's not in our brokerage. She's no longer at our brokerage. And she called me on a Tuesday afternoon about helping her with a contract. She wanted to go over a contract with me. And I said, sure, come on in. I'm available at 2:30. Well, I can't come today. I'm on the other side of town, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, perfect. Tomorrow's open forum. I'm doing it at the downtown office. Come in there before or after, or even if you want to do it with the group. Like I tell you guys sometimes when you ask me questions, I say, oh, do you want to talk about it in front of the group, or we'll do it before or after, right? So I told her that, and she said, well, I can't tomorrow. I have a hair appointment. And I've had this appointment for 4 weeks. I guess that's a thing with you ladies, is 4 week out hair appointments that you don't miss, right? So I couldn't relate, but I said, okay, well, Thursday I have an opportunity at 10:30 in the morning also. And she said, well, Thursday I'm taking the niece and nephew to Legoland, right? This is direct quote, taking the niece and nephew to Legoland. And I said, and I get frustrated with you guys, and not most of you guys I don't get frustrated with, but those of you who talk to me about how you just can't make it and you're this and that, and then you pull stuff like that where you're never available to work, then I get a little bit frustrated with you. And I was probably having a bad day. And I said, how much would you say you're actually working on real estate? And she said this, and try to grasp this. She said, well, honestly, I'm not working a whole lot because I don't have a lot going on. You ever feel like that? Anybody ever feel like they're not working a lot because they don't have a lot going on? Good. Don't feel like that. Because I told her in that thing, and it came directly to my mind. I said, I think maybe you have that backwards. I think you don't have a lot going on because you're not working a lot. Right? Activity breeds success. Activity breeds success. And I know I've told you guys all the story about the young man agent we had up in Apopka. And he was going door to door, and he is still with us, but he was going door to door one morning from 9:30 to 12:30, didn't sell a thing. On his way home in the McDonald's, sells a house in McDonald's, in line at McDonald's. After he's all sweating, he's wearing a suit, his little name tag, and he's sweating. And he goes to McDonald's on his way home because he's a young broke agent going to McDonald's on his way home from walking doors all morning. And he sells a house. Somebody came up to him in line and was standing next to him in line and started talking to him about real estate. Right? Activity breeds success. If he's sitting home in his underwear, nobody's going to knock on his door and ask him about real estate. Okay? Like I tell you guys all the time, watching Jerry Springer or Judge Judy or whatever, nobody's going to be on there hitting you up about real estate. Put some clothes on, get out and do something. Even if you just go to Chick-fil-A, put on your name tag, put on decent clothes, and people will talk to you about real estate.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I have this buyer. He's in California. He's buying in Baldwin Park, sight unseen. He is nitpicking apart every single fee. So I finally told him last night that, what what the seller's responsible for and the buyer responsible is on the contract, blah, 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 blah. And he's picking apart everything. He won't pay the fee that we charge. So he just said to me, without reasonable solution to the settlement fee, he cannot proceed. And I'm like, so you mean the fee the title company's paying? So it's a $438,000 sale. My thought is, okay, it's probably worth it for me to pay that. But, I'm so easy to throw in money. So then he says, endorsement fee and search fee, I cannot proceed. None of these items is mentioned on page 3 of the contract, which I don't really know what the endorsement fee and the search fee, what they really are. But, he's got his good faith estimate. Are those related to a loan? Because I said, well, if they're related to the loan, then that wouldn't be on the contract as part of your financing. So do I give in and pay these things to get the deal done, or?
No, those are seller expenses. The search fee is probably a lien search, something to do with the title. So, I have to see the HUD to see it, but I'm sure that's correct.
So those he's talking about you think are seller fees?
Yeah, I think they're seller fees. Yeah.
Okay.
So Tammi, it comes down to this. If you, how close are you to the goal line on this thing?
Our inspection period ends today, and he's questioning all these fees, and he's got $4,500 in escrow, and that's what I'm saying. Well, if you can't go forward because of these things, we need to know today whether you're going forward or not, because basically you're just changing your mind. He can get financing. Financing is not really his problem. It's, are you willing? If you're not willing to pay these fees and you want to end the contract, we need to end it today. But it's going to be this way on any house you buy. Basically, it's going to be the same scenario, So.
Well, we got a lot of head nodders on here of people who think you should be tough and tell him that he needs to pay these fees. It's going to be the same anywhere he goes. But I'm going to tell you, if that were my $12,000 I was going to make, I'd probably pay $1,000 for him. Cover his fees.
That's what I'm thinking. But I'm so easy to always do that. I just want to make sure, because why fight over it,
I'll pay you. You know what? I'll pay you $1,000. You just sign it over to me, Tammi. I'll take care of the rest of it. So no, out of closing, if it closes. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to call his bluff, because this is very incongruent behavior to be buying a house sight unseen and then be nitpicking. To say someone buys a house sight unseen and then say he's a nitpicker, that doesn't even compute, right? That's not what a nitpicker does. this guy he sounds like he's a waffler, a little bit insane.
Oh yeah, he owns like 2 other houses in California. His house payment's $900 and his house is worth $3.5 million. And he's nitpicking these, and I'm gonna pay my own transaction fee probably, because he's not gonna want to pay that as either, which is fine. I mean, I make enough money that it doesn't make sense to lose a deal over, like you say, $1,000.
I want you to consider this calling his bluff. So if that's his objection, is over $1,000 on a $438,000 house he's never seen, call his bluff. You're not really giving anything if he doesn't go forward.
Exactly.
My prediction.
Well, how do you mean?
My prediction is that he comes back to you with something like, well, this whole, okay, fine, but this whole thing has just gotten so wacky. I'm not going to, call his bluff.
But what do you mean, call his bluff? Like, say, I'll take care of it.
I'll pay it. I mean, I'm assuming this is a title fee of $525 and then lien searches and endorsements of a couple hundred, $500.
Yeah, I'll ask him what those totals are, what he's looking at, and then I'll just say, I'll take care of it.
Okay.
Can Tammy not negotiate if she's still in the inspection period? Can't she negotiate with the title company on the fees?
Oh, she can negotiate. Yeah, the title companies a lot of times will.
And I was going to call the title company and say, look, I'm having to chip in. Can you guys eat some of this as well, possibly?
Well, problem is you got the buyer, and
I was going to say, if it was your seller, yeah, but it's your buyer, so.
So they're going to end up closing this deal for this seller eventually, anyway.
Yeah.
You know. So I would just eat it. I mean, I assume you're making 2.5–3% on the deal.
Yeah.
I would just.
3 actually. I think it's 3%.
Well, before you get too worked up about it, I would just call his bluff by saying, I'll pay it. Let's go forward.
Yeah.
He didn't have any other problem with the inspection?
Only 2 small items, and the guys fixing them were good.
Perfect. All right. Well,
I mean, he accepted a lot of wood rot on the house, which I was totally surprised about. And we're fixing a leaky garbage disposal and couple of pieces of rotten woods. But other than that, no, he was good.
So rotten wood doesn't bother him, but fees do. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I would pay it for him and just see if he's serious and if he's going to go forward.
Okay. All right.
I would never sacrifice, $15,000 or $13,500 for $1,000.
Okay.
$2,000 in a deal last year because the house didn't appraise. The lady didn't want to go with the price. So I'm like, okay, then, I had to come down. So, but I rather to only get paid $2,000 and lose $2,000 than not making anything and starting over again with the same client, because she was going to purchase that house, not that house, but she was going to continue to do another house. And I was having to happen to find somebody that would accept the Orange County program. And that was really hard. So I'm like, screw, whatever. Just give me those $2,000 and I'm done.
Okay. So we have a lot of things to weigh when you deal with a situation like this. For Malvis's deal that she was talking about, I guess you were going to make 4, and you ended up making 2 and giving 2.
Yeah, I was going to make 4,000 out of that sale. I'll only make 2,000.
Okay. So when you do this, you decide whether or not, first of all, you'd already had all your invested time in it and everything anyway, it gets down to the last minute, but you still want to do the deal if you're okay with working with a client again in the future, because the reason you want to do the deal is because you're going to get referrals from them. You're going to follow up with them and get their next deal and all this stuff. If they're just walking all over you and taking advantage of you, then you may not ever want to work with them again. And you can just tell them whatever, but you guys set expectations from the beginning. And remember this when you're working with new clients, you set expectations from the beginning of how you're going to be treated, whether or not a lot of times people won't even ask their agent for something because they don't think the agent is weak enough to come off of what they do, right? The agent builds up enough, and not that you didn't, because some people ask for anything or they need it because they can't close without it. But sometimes they'll take advantage of you. They think they can call you all hours of night. They think you can do this and that because you train your clients how to treat you. Okay. And if they think that you're serious, I don't mean this any kind of way, Malvis, but I think a client would be more likely to ask you for money than they would for me, because I'm meaner. Right?
Yeah. Well, in this particular sale, the lady that I was dealing with was actually the seller, because this was a listing on the MLS that it was just a flat fee that the listing agent took, and I was dealing directly with the seller. I was representing the buyer, and my buyer she's an older lady who lives off of a very small part-time job plus retirement. And she was taking the Orange County government help. So it was a tough sell as it was, just because not every house qualified for it. And I was determined to help this lady, because if she would have, number one, she was buying a home that was not paying a lot. But number two, she was buying it with a program that is very tough in this market to get a contract under. I managed to get her under contract. So I didn't want to go through all the time again. And I was dealing directly with the seller. Seller didn't want to pay me anymore. Seller didn't want to. So I said to myself, do I keep my client, which was the buyer, happy and lose $2,000, but I don't have to help her with any other property? Or do I just, so I decided, oh, that's okay. Don't pay me the $2,000. I have a happy client, and she has already referred 2 people to me.
Awesome.
Right.
And there are some deals, if you would go back and look at your career, once you're in this business for a while, you go back and look at your career, you would have done for free, because the person created a relationship and those people sent you so much business over time. And there are other deals that you wish you'd never done. And there's other deals that but you get down to the end, right? And you've got to decide between taking $2,000 or starting all over with someone, whatever. You've already got the investment in it. Just do it, right? That's why we cover washers and dryers at closings, right? Because we're already at the finish line. Let's just finish this deal. Okay. But if you do your paperwork right, you'll never have to cover washers and dryers.
Ryan, I wanted to ask a question to you and my fellow coworkers. I have a potential buyer that I know what she's looking for, and I haven't been able to find her. Well, I was able to find her something, but it's not where she wants it. Have any of you heard of the new generation houses from Lennar, where the new builders are building a home with kind of like a small apartment in it?
Yeah.
I'm looking for that. But the only place that I've been able to find was number one with Lennar, and in her price range, Lennar was only building in Davenport, and my potential buyer does not want to live in Davenport. Do you know of any other builder that is building those type of houses anywhere else, especially in Orlando?
What's her budget?
She can go, and that's another thing she hasn't been qualified for, but her house is paid for. And so she will sell her house, and her house is about $280,000. And they are both employed. She's employed by the Verton Hospital, so she makes really good money. So I'm not concerned about them getting financing, because they both have good credit and good income, and their current house is paid for. She didn't want to buy anything more than $400,000.
I saw one recently. I'm trying to think where it was. Might be like Lake Nona or St. Cloud. Or 32824. I don't know. I saw something like that recently, and I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look who I sent that to.
Yeah, the south end of Lake Nona is going to see a little bit of a building boom, I think, like going into Osceola. And that may be, if she's at that Veterans Hospital, Malvys, then she's good. If she's at the one in Winter Park, that's a commute. I have to say, in Orlando, there is no such animal, because I've looked everywhere.
George says there's one in Ocoee. They have Richmond has that multi-gen floor plan. They were in Ocoee. They have that model in other areas. Malvys, I'm going to make a suggestion to you. You need to find out what area they want to live in. You need to find out what's available in the area they want to live in. Obviously, they don't want to go to Davenport. So when you tell me that the only thing available is in Davenport in their price range, that tells me they're in the wrong price range, because everything in Davenport is going to be cheaper than any other part of town of the Orlando area. Okay, so what you need to find out where they want to live, find that product in that area by whatever builder it is. Okay, find some areas, find that product, and let them know, look, you got to spend $450. Okay, it doesn't sound like money's a big problem for them. So when this is the definition of wasting time, though. If you have somebody looking for something that is beyond their price range in an area that's beyond their, I mean, and it sounds like these people are capable. So I understand when you're doing that for somebody who's looking for a starter house, but when you're doing that for somebody that can spend, that sounds like they could probably spend 500 if they wanted, and you're trying to find them something because they don't want to go over 400, but they want this. I mean, that's the, you know, I want the 4.3 in Windermere for, you know, 300 grand. That doesn't happen. Okay. So I'm wasting everybody's time. First thing, get them pre-approved. First thing with these people, because they're going to be pre-approved, they got 280 cash if they need it. So what I would, first thing I would do with them, where do you want to live? I know what kind of house you want. Give me some areas where you will live and let me narrow it down. Find that property there. Then I come back to you with a price range and say, listen, I know you said you want to spend 400, but this is going to be 460. Let's get you pre-approved for 460, or good luck in Davenport or wherever you want to go, because we're going to have to find a different product or a different area or a different price
I just
range.
couldn't find the build. I only find so far Lennar is the only builder that I could find that is building houses like that.
Okay, Richmond American is doing it, and that's what George said. They're doing it in Ocoee, and so find out them at Richmond, Richmond. Okay, he put it in the chat. So Richmond's doing it. Find out what areas they're in, but more importantly, we have what's called incongruency. We have a price range that doesn't fit an area, that doesn't fit a type of house. Okay, something's got to give, otherwise your time and energy is wasted. Okay. Okay. So something's got to give.
She's going to have to sell. I may have missed that. She's going to have to sell. You're going to have to do a contract contingent, or get her pre-approved without selling, which is easy, the best way, and then let her sell her house afterwards and recast the loan and put the money on the loan. So you've got a lot of.
Yeah, you got a lot of moving parts, but when they're probably, it sounds like they could get financed without selling the house.
Yes, and that's what they were trying to do, because they didn't want to move anywhere else. The house is paid for, and they can sell it afterwards.
Okay. And like we talked about last week, there's a lot of moving parts when you're moving from one house to another, and you have to sell that house, and you've got to have the contingency and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, you got to get them. You got to find. My first thing I would do after this call is call them and say, what part of town would you like to live in? Okay. Why don't you give me somewhere you would like to live, and let me look there first. Second, try to find the product anywhere near that area, hopefully in that area, or areas. Hopefully they give you areas. Get as many areas as you can. Find the product there, and then you're going to have to go back to them, because I'm telling you right now, if the only one in their price range was in Davenport, then they're in the wrong price range.
Yeah, you really need to get them pre-approved, because you're spending your time looking for something that, you know, they might be able to afford more. They may not want to, you know. So.
Well, Tammy, the reason I'm telling her to find that first before that is because she's got to sell them on the price range. So I do a pre-approval, I'm going to have a price range. Yeah, and so she wants, these are good clients. Okay. They're very capable and clients. I love them. I don't know them, but I love them. So she needs to get them, she's got to sell them on that first. She's got to sell them on, look, yeah, we can get you this house for 400 grand, but you're going to be in Davenport, or we can get you in Lake Nona for 460.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And because she's got to sell them on that, because I got to have an amount I want her to get pre-qualified for. And if I tell her right now, I know you want to spend 400, but let's get you pre-approved for 500, she's going to say, no way.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you both.
Yeah. So something's got to give. Any other questions or anything? Anybody want to share anything?
I want to give props to Abby this week. She did a fantastic flyer on my Brokers Open. First time I ever used her, and she was great. And she also did my email signature, which I think I shared it on the Facebook page with everyone. She did a fantastic job.
Nice.
Thank you, Daryl.
Sure.
Good job.
Thank you.
Abby, you will be receiving an email from me today.
Awesome.
Please let me know if you don't, Abby.
I will let you know.
So hey Ryan and everybody. So my the buyer that was looking for land, and they're from Arizona, and after our call about getting the buyer's agreement signed, so I requested that from them, and when I requested that, they kind of distanced themselves from me, but I don't know if they're working for another they said they don't feel comfortable in signing it yet because they haven't really decided if they want to live in Florida or if they want to live in another state. But I don't have lots of leads right now, so I feel like I would really still want to work with them. But I'm just throwing it out there. I just felt like the buyer's agreement made it kind of awkward.
Okay. Well, so the excuse that they gave you was that they're not sure if they want to live in Florida or another state?
Yeah, they're thinking about living in another state or Florida. And then if they're living in Florida, they're looking for land. And the land that I'm trying to find them, it's like 10 acres or more, and I can't find that within greater Orlando. So it's definitely out there. And so I have to like go in and really research those areas of town. And so I was just wondering how everybody researches different cities.
Well, I'm going to address the first thing first. If they don't, the thing about it, they're not sure if they want to live in Florida or another state. Well, if they find another state, they don't owe you anything. So secondly, you're not licensed in the other state, and it's a Florida agreement, so you're fine. Secondly, what you're talking about doing is a lot of work, right? This is more than typical MLS search and let's do some showings and stuff. So it's a lot of work. If you want to work with them. I mean, that's fine. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. What you're thinking that you're going to have to go outside of your Stellar MLS?
Some of them are actually, I'm finding them through Stellar MLS. They're just areas that I've never been to, like Morrison, Punta Gorda, which is like 3 hours out. So of course I wouldn't normally go out and show these properties, but I was just sending that out to them so they can see that's available. But okay. My thing is I'll only go out when everything's official and they're ready to sign. Yeah.
There you go.
All right, just throwing it out there.
Okay, so what was your question to the group? How do you find those properties?
Yeah, like let's say it's in Morrison City, which is like above the village in Claremont. How would you go about in researching more about this area? Because I'm from Orlando, we're all from like the greater Orlando, so we specialize here, but how would you find more details about those part of town?
Where are you talking about with Morrison City?
Yeah, Morrison City. So if I were to tell a client more about the city and you wouldn't do it, Vivian's like, no.
Well, it's.
I wouldn't work a deal that I don't know an area because that's a disservice to that buyer. I don't think it's fair to that buyer, especially in a network of how many agents are in FRI, Ryan, that we could find somebody more proximate and work with them.
Yeah, I don't mind her doing that. I think it would be good. You're not going to want to drive them around and show them an area north of Claremont and then an area south of Sarasota and then an area, down Indian River. You're not going to want to do all that. We do have agents in those places, but also, you've got to, you've really got to, same thing I just told Malvis, you've really got to narrow them down before you do much work on anything.
They sound like dreamers to me, these people.
Yeah.
I think I might like to live in Florida someday. And are they really committed? Are they just like, dreaming?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it has to start somewhere, the dream, but it's, I don't know.
There's no way they've ever been to Florida and they're okay with all these different areas. I mean, they've got to pick a place, a rough area. And then if it's not in your area or, the areas you're talking about, that's fine. But to pick different places that they're not sure if they want to be in the center of I've never even heard of Morrison City, and I was born and raised in Claremont, so I don't even know where that is. That's why I was asking that. So what's that?
Very far north.
Oh, very far north. So, okay. So I've never heard of that, but if they're considering living up very far north, maybe Ocala, Gainesville area, sounds like almost, I've never heard of that city. So if they're thinking about living there or in Punta Gorda, those are nothing alike at all. So I don't know.
I would let them go myself, because if they're not in your radius that you want to work, and they're really not specific enough that you can refer to another agent to work a particular area, they need to, like Brian said, they really need to figure out where they want to be. And I don't know that you can help them until they figure that out.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. That would be my opinion.
I just referred another client as well to Cape because they contacted and wanted to go to Cape Coral. So I just gave that to another FRI. Man, my leads. So I get a lot of Cambodian leads. That's my, our background at home. And so a lot of them are just very sporadic in their places of interest. And so I wish it was just all in Orlando, but it's not.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
That's okay though. But that, you know what, that's, Joy says to try looking on LoopNet for land too. You can do that as well. But you know, hey, there are people who do nothing but get international leads and refer them off and make a good living doing that. You can make money doing that. Just refer them off. Let somebody else headache be driving them around looking at 10 acres. You know what I mean? And just refer a bunch of people off. That can be your niche. I mean, you know, so think about things like that. That's any money is money earned. So that's good.
Right. Okay. I think that's great. I'll do that.
So, and going to that end, I just signed a couple of VDAs and referral agreements last week with realtors that want me to bird dog for them since I'm so good at off-market properties. And they're willing to pay me 3%, just to give you an idea. So these buyers really need to get off it. I mean, if somebody who could do the job themselves is willing to pay me, then somebody who doesn't do the job should be willing to pay you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, guys.
You bet. Anybody have anything else? Anything? Nothing. Okay. Well, you guys were phenomenal. Thank you all for sharing your goals. That took a lot of courage. I appreciate that. If you guys have any kind of specific things that you want to talk to me about privately, you can as well. Just set an appointment or whatever. We can do it on Zoom, or you can come by the office, and we will handle it that way. All right. So
Thank you.
You bet, guys. Great job.
Thank you.
Do just, if anything you take with you before you all check out, do make some kind of reminder for yourself to work towards your goals every day. Right?
Will do.
When's the best time to plant a tree? Anybody know the best time to plant a tree?
Yesterday?
20 years ago. When's the second best time?
Now.
Today, right? Start working towards your goals today. You can't do it 20 years ago unless you've been doing it, which is great. Good for you. But start today working towards your goals. Make those phone calls, make those, whatever it is that you got to do, get out and do it. All right?
Ryan.
Yes.
How are you doing? This is
Good. Yes, I see. How are you?
Good. I just want to thank you and thank everybody here.
Awesome.
You are really like great encouragement person that support us. Thank you for your support. You are doing an amazing job.
Thank you very much. Well, I love you guys. I want you guys all to be successful. And especially you guys, those of you who come into the meetings and stuff, I really appreciate that. And look at all of you with your cameras on and stuff. This is fantastic. Even those of you who don't, that's great. But I love you guys participating and being part of this, and makes me feel good. And I hope it helps you guys as well.
Hey, Ryan, I put it in my agenda.
Thank you.
Cell phone already,
Perfect.
every day.
Perfect.
What do you?
Awesome. Awesome.
Thank
Get
you,
that
Ryan.
listing.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Have a good
Go
day.
get those goals. Go get them.
Happy selling.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.